Welcome back to this edition of Workshop Wednesday, where we're going to talk about what's happened in the past 30 days. So, what's new and what's going on in February 2023 in the world of measurement. Welcome, everyone. My name is Julie Brody. I am the Director of Measurement for MeasurementMarketing.io. I've been building actionable dashboards for quite some time, as well as being a measurement marketer since 2015, as well as being able to teach measurement marketing to companies one-on-one or in groups to their teams, and being the account manager for all of our dedicated measurement clients. And you probably have seen me as well. If you're a Measurement Marketing Academy member, you've seen me back there in our courses or in our tools or ask an instructor support as well. So if you've seen me back there, definitely come back and say hi. I love to hear from you and how you're growing your measurement skills. As you go through this one particular workshop, remember the one thing. We always encourage you to do the one thing so you don't try to remember everything and get overwhelmed. Be a master of one, not a master of all, those type of things. Little by little, all that progress stuff. So just don't try to grab everything. Get one thing and make it your own. Come back, get something else. So as we go through this particular workshop, we will keep that in mind because there's a lot of new things coming at you. So let's go ahead and start. So we have what we always start with as tradition, our measurement marketing framework. If this is the first time you are seeing the measurement marketing framework, don't worry, we have a free course for you that kind of walks you through all of this step by step in a much deeper dive. But right now we're going to have a really high level overview just to kind of see where we're at as we go through this particular workshop. So with the measurement marketing framework, we always start with our 3 steps: plan, build, launch. And you're trying to go from having this chaotic marketing where you're marketing the blind to being able to know kind of what button to push to be able to reliably grow those revenue and profits. Do you turn up spend? Do you turn it down? Do you turn up traffic over here? What do you do? And that's what the framework is going to help you do. So for plan, you're going to have to know what questions to ask, the information you need, and the actions you're going to take with the information from those questions. Very simple. You have to be able to know what it is that you're trying to do. Then under your build step, you have results, traffic, and story. What does that mean? You have to understand the results, the traffic that is causing those results or not causing the results, and understanding the story, the big picture. And you always say, I want to know what the big picture is. I want to know the overall. That's what we're talking about here. You need to understand the story that's happening through your user journey. And then you listen to that. This is part of our launch step. You listen to that. What is that telling you so that you can forecast and optimize? And then you're going to go through the whole thing all over again and just keep leveling up your skills over and over. And that's what we do with the measurement marketing framework. So let's go ahead and talk about what's happening in February 2023. So for Google Analytics 4, there are some things I want to point out to you that has happened very recently. Some things we had a heads up for, other things we didn't. All right. So we are inside Google Analytics 4, a demo account, and we're under our explorations here, and then we're looking under our metrics. Just a quick little overview, and we poked into e-commerce because the update that happened, which again, we had a heads up last fall that this was going to happen in January 2023, but I just want to point it out to you in case you weren't aware. It mainly impacts those of you that are e-com sites that have lots of different e-commerce information of item views and all these other things coming through. So what happened is that we now have items that are event scoped and item scoped. So if we hover over some of these, this is a little trick for you. You can hover and it kind of tells you what things are, but then you can also hover and some of them have a learn more link. We're going to choose to learn more because we always want to learn more. And what it does, it takes you to this document. I'm going to scroll up just so you can see everything it has. It has lots of information here, but what we're doing is we're scrolling down to where it dropped us to this e-commerce section, and it guides you through a little bit. It says e-commerce provides event and item scope metrics to help you in blah, 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 all this other stuff. So real quick, Universal Analytics as well as other platforms do the exact same thing. So even though seems kind of a little bit confusing, it is okay. You're already used to this. They're just kind of calling it something a little bit different and it's a little bit confusing. But what this means is item scoped and event scoped dimensions and metrics are not compatible. They are incompatible with another. Again, you are already used to this. It's just coming it's being told to you in a different way, so it seems new and scary and you don't know what to do. So for example, things that are item scoped here and event scoped are here. So event scoped are kind of the things that you would normally see at the overall high level transaction level. And so think of those as all that transaction information and the high level information or the event level information is kind of stored in one bucket. And there's like in one part of it's one bucket, completely separate, and then the item scope is stored in another bucket. They don't talk to each other. They can't talk to each other. So for example, if you wanted to know someone that viewed a certain item, they viewed an item, and then you're like, well, I also want to pull tax amount at the same time for another question. You won't be able to do that because tax amount is event scoped and item amount is or item viewed is item scoped. So again, you are already used to this. It's just being told to you in a different way. So how do you do this? Well, the best way, my favorite way, is to go into the explorations and pull what it is that you want. And then if it lets you work with it inside of the exploration, like you don't get an error, you don't see see no data, then you know it's going to work. If you're seeing the data, if it's useful, it looks correct, then you know that those dimensions and metrics work well together. But if you keep seeing zeros or it's not working for you, then they're probably not. And that's where, again, you just come through here and kind of see like what it is you're trying to ask. And sometimes it might just be the naming conventions. Like we have quantity here. We don't have quantity here, but what could we have? Like there's also item list view events, item list click events. And so there's ways that this could get a little bit confusing if you're not sure what it is you're looking for. So again, always refer back to the documentation. However, it has been known that Google's documentation sometimes can be wrong. So always come through here and practice. And of course, if you're a Measurement Marketing Academy for marketers or professional, if you're one of those members, you have us with Ask Extra Support. We are always there to help you. The other interesting thing that happened very recently, actually just the past few days, we have this new update. I personally am not a fan of it, but we're going to go through it anyway. So what you can type in here at this top level of this bar, you have data stream. You can type in the word, give it a second, and we have these little gear icons here that tell you what it is. So you can copy your data stream ID. You can do the same thing if you type in account, like these keywords that it's looking for, account settings and all these other stuff. So it is kind of cool. But if you're an agency and you have lots of different clients and stuff like that, it would make me very nervous that I would grab the wrong ID or go change the wrong settings. So again, super cool if it's only you or solo show and it's only ever going to be you and only ever going to be one account, and that's great, fantastic for you. But for those of us that have dozens and dozens of properties and accounts that we manage, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. So I still encourage you to go to the admin section. If you want to know your data stream, come in here and find your data stream. Plus, it's good practice just to get familiar with where everything is at. So that's our pro tip. So again, it's super cool that they're updating stuff like this. But just kind of make sure that you're grabbing the correct information and just always double check. TBV, trust but verify. So you can always come through here and make sure that you're grabbing the right information, especially, again, for those of us that have lots and lots of different properties and accounts to manage. All right, so what's happening inside of Tag Manager? Nothing really big new has come through in Tag Manager, like big updates, but we're going to give our regular monthly encouragement to say, always check out those templates for the variables or for the tags to see if there's anything new. I did actually learn one thing. This is a little bit of a surprise. I'm going to tell you. When you're putting in a HTML script, I'm actually going to pull up Tag Manager. Surprise! I actually had this happen to us just a few days ago, and I was going to test it out, but I'm going to let you know just in case you guys have an issue with this too. I don't want you to have the same issue. So this is us just playing around in something, and so what happened was I created per the tools document. It was a HubSpot. Per the documentation, I used the custom HTML because that's what it tells us to do. However, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just because the documentation wasn't up working or hasn't been updated or anything like that, it wasn't working. And so what I then did after we found out it wasn't working, we went into our templates and I went and searched inside the tag templates and I looked for HubSpot and I found this one here and I went ahead and used it. and it started working. So this is just another example of being careful when you're putting stuff into the custom HTML. Also look to see if there is any sort of tag template, or again, if you get down and you actually have something with custom HTML and it's not working, look for a template and see if that works for you. It could go both ways. So you can definitely have a template that's not working and you need to use custom HTML, but it's another troubleshooting step. We definitely could have gone down the rabbit hole and figured out like, okay, we have to change the custom HTML, which it should have just been a simple copy and paste. It wasn't working, but we just tried the template and it started working right away. So that's just another fun pro tip for you. So even though there really wasn't anything new in Tag Manager, just those templates can really, really come in handy for that. So Looker Studio. There is a couple of things that happened in Looker Studio that we're going to bring up, and we're actually going to bring up our actual dashboard, one of our actual dashboards. All right, so a couple things have happened over the past few months, and one of them is, hey, we can move this guy around, which is really helpful. Same thing with this dude. We can move this one around. We have a data tab. You can pop this. This is what this one is. Excuse me, or this one is the data tab. And then the properties tab. We can now move those things around. One of the things that had happened was when we searched for something, it was pulling up for all of the different data sources that we had here. So if I type in Academy, and it would look for everything we have here. Quite overwhelming, especially if you don't know exactly what you're looking for. The new thing that happened inside the past 30 days or so is if we are on an element, we are selected with an element here, and we search for whatever it is we're looking for, it's going to show for whatever this data source is. So we can see this one is the Analyst Canvas, GA4, API, Academy Report. That's the one that's searching, as opposed to what it did before. If we didn't have something selected, it would look for everything. So this is making it a little bit easier, especially if you know, hey, I need to be using this data source. I only want you to search in there. So that makes it a little bit easier for you. So that is your main Looker Studio update. There's a couple other ones I want to show to you just in case it applies to you. For most of it probably doesn't. If you're doing anything with Cloud SQL or MySQL, there are some updates for the private IP connectivity. Again, most of us aren't doing anything with that, but just in case it is, take a peek at that, see if that applies to you. And then this has actually been here for a while. I don't know why they just now put this update, but Looker connector allows you to access Looker. So meaning if I were to come into Looker Studio.google.com and we were to come in here to create a blank report, it's going to ask us what kind of data source we want, and we have this. This is the update it's talking about. Again, doesn't really apply to most of us, but just want to let you know that's what it's referring to. So that's your Looker Studio updates. Let's go ahead and talk about what's happening with Google Optimize. So the big update that is happening with Google Optimize is that it will be a sunset, meaning it's going away. And as of right now, the date is September 2023. As of a few days ago, there wasn't even anything on the Google Optimize site either, and it's really hard to find this information. So we'll make sure you have the link below inside the Academy. And so it's not quite sure why. They have some information of like, probably not very profitable. They're going in different directions. It sounds like they've made a connection with Optimizely, a different brand. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen. Supposedly there are going to be ways you can test inside of Google Analytics 4. We don't know exactly what that looks like yet. Nobody does. Even a lot of other experts have no idea, but we'll definitely keep you apprised because Google Optimize is something we've used for quite some time. We will be shopping around for another tool or another way to kind of get the same result. Again, we like the free tools, but we want to make sure that we're able to optimize effectively as well. So that's just a little note. So if you are using Google Optimize, stay in touch with us. We'll definitely keep you updated as we learn new things, as Google posts new information. But as of right now, there isn't any action for you to take besides start keeping your eyes and ears open for another solution. If you're wondering what's our game plan is to kind of have a solution picked out probably before the summertime. So for us in the States, that's probably around June-ish, have something picked out. And then have completely migrated over in July and August. So we know everything that we want to like. So we're completely out of Optimize before September. Preferably we do that a little bit faster than that, but I think as the competitors come out of the woodwork, we might have to slow down our decision making depending on what kind of offers and stuff they have, and it also depends on what GA4 is going to end up doing. If that's a slow release, we might hold off on choosing anything else. Especially if a client needs the free tool and doesn't want to spend money on a more expensive solution. So that's our plan, because I know that's a lot of people want to know, like, well, what are we doing? And so we'll definitely keep you apprised of what we're doing for that. All right, so what is happening inside the Measurement Marketing Academy? What's new? We always have stuff that's new. So let's pop over into your Measurement Marketing Academy. So right now we are under our Win courses. And just a few weeks ago, we updated Win Google Tag Manager Basics. So if Tag Manager is something you've been wanting to learn and you want to take it down like 30 steps to the beginner level, this is the course for you. Again, just updated a few weeks ago. And actually being updated this current week is Win Google Analytics 4 setup. So if you just need a very quick, and probably only have to watch it one time, this is the course for you. It's actually going to end up being much shorter than this, probably about half this time. And we're doing that intentionally, so to help you get in, get out, and be able to implement and set up, create and configure your Google Analytics 4 account. And then, so that's what's new, what's happening, and then what's coming up inside of Google, or excuse me, I'm all about the Googles right now. What's coming soon for your Measurement Marketing Academy is, instead of Google Analytics 4 Setup, we're actually going to be updating Win Google Analytics 4 Basics, as well as some other courses too. So we're going to be updating in February. We're going to be updating Win Google Analytics 4 Basics. Then March, we're GA4 Beyond Basics, and then April is GTM Beyond Basics. And we have the courses planned out for quite some time, but I'm just going to let you know about those, so that way you can continue to level up your skills throughout the year of 2023 and be ready for all of these new GA4 things and kind of know what everything's coming at you with that. Then your upcoming boot camps. So these are about 7 weeks of classes where you're being taught live. The most current one is starting in February, Plan, Build, Launch for GA4. If you're wanting to learn GA4 and you need that accountability, you can watch for those emails. That's coming up here in the upcoming weeks as well. So what was your one thing? Was it the fact that Google Analytics 4 now gives you this little search feature you probably don't want to use, even though it's kind of a shortcut? I hope you are going to take my advice on that and kind of look at it, think it's cool, but still go through and learn where things are, because that's going to be more helpful. But what was your one thing? So as you go through any one of these one things, remember the measurement marketing framework. Keep that in mind. So when we do these what's new workshops, it's kind of, the where you are, like, think of a mall map, like you are here. These what's new workshops, you're all over here. And so for instance, when we talked about the GA4 stuff, the item scope or event scopes, we're definitely in the planning and building, because you need to know what information you need to be able to, tell what kind of results, or be able to figure out the actions, results, traffic story. That's all connected inside of there. And then obviously in Looker Studio, if you're trying to be able to effectively tell a story and so they can listen, forecast, and optimize, that's what you're doing there. So you're always all over the map when we're doing these what's news. But coming up soon, you'll learn about solving the GA4 quota issue. So that's definitely all about that build and launch step too. So when you see inside of Looker Studio or inside of any platform, technically, that where you're trying to pull data out of Google Analytics 4, since Q4, there's been Q4 2022, there's a quota now in GA4, and you can only pull out a certain amount of data per hour, per day, and there's a solution for you. And we're going to show you this super simple, easy solution to use. All right, so that is what's coming up next. And then, as we mentioned before, with the Measurement Marketing Academy, there you have multiple levels. There's the Toolbox, which is the free level. Then there's obviously, we have some other premium levels as well. But remember, I said that there was a free course for the Measurement Marketing Framework. The Toolbox, you have the free course. You get the Measurement Marketing Framework, and you get to learn all about it if you want to learn more, completely free. And so, as well as lots and lots and lots of other tools as well. There's dozens of things back there if you want to take a peek around for that. We also, as mentioned, a little bit more premium, we have the Measurement Marketing Academy for marketers, as well as Measurement Marketing Academy for professionals, where there's weekly coaching calls and a lot more stuff available for those different memberships as well. And if you're interested in taking a peek at any one of those three levels, you can go to measure.tips/get Academy, so you can see if you want to learn more about that. So that's what's new for February 2023. We'll see you next time.